The Girls Club, 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 The Girls Club. It's my club and I'm a girl, yeah.
Hello, and welcome back to the Girls Club. I'm your president, Emily, and today I'm sporting a very Halloween festive shirt. It's a jack-o'-lantern shirt. Yay! It's doing an especially good job of washing me out, which I always love. You know, I've talked about this before, but something about being on camera makes me even paler than I am, which is probably why a lot of like news anchors and people, I feel like their makeup always looks kind of like orangey, or like the face is not matching the neck. You know, they got that James Charles, issue with the shade match. But now that I've like been, filming and making video content for YouTube and stuff for like 3+ years now, I'm realizing why, because I do look very ghostly, very white. Not that I'm not white or ghostly. It just accentuates the white ghostliness, especially when you pair it with a traffic cone orange. It's not my color. I did one of those like color analysis things. Like I used ChatGPT to do it instead of like, I didn't go to like somebody, I didn't pay somebody to tell me what colors are the most flattering for me. But mine was a true autumn or like a warm autumn are the colors that look the best on me. So you would think a jack-o'-lantern shirt would do that, but I don't think it's doing it. It didn't say that it wouldn't make you look pale, but it did say like, you're not going to look sickly, like a sick Victorian child, which I think this shirt really does. But nevertheless, I love it. I got it at Target this weekend. I went to Target, and first of all, rarely do I compliment a giant corporation. Target, girl, your clothes are cute. The fuck? I went in there last weekend, or I guess it was last Friday, after work, and I was like, what did I even go there for? Oh, I went to get envelopes because I sent some cards out to some people, and I went to get envelopes. But of course, like when you go to Target, like it's never just to get what you need. It's rarely to get what you need. It's always, I go in and I browse because it's a Target, It's like nobody goes into Home Goods because they're like, I need this one specific item. It's like, I'm just gonna go. And then it's like you get possessed by the Target spirit, and you just start grabbing shit, and you go to checkout and you've spent at minimum $100. My broke ass every time. I don't have $100 to spend. I do spend $100 every time. I think I spent like $189 when I was there the other day. On what? Good Lord, I could not tell you. But the clothes, girl, the clothes are cute as fuck there right now. If you have not been to Target, like go. I'm not kidding. Like the clothes are actually so cute. I got this jean jacket that is like so like 2000s coded. Like I swear to God, I had this exact same jean jacket from like the Children's Place back in like 2005 or something. It is so fucking cute. I'm obsessed with it. I got this shirt in the Halloween clothing section. I don't know. It was just calling my name. They had so many cute things there, and I was just like shocked. Like, okay, really cute stuff. Like very much on trend. I don't know. I feel like normally they're behind like a couple of months with trends and stuff, but I feel like right now, since it's very like 90s Y2K, that era, it's transitioning so well into the fall with the denim and like the little mini, not even mini, like micro pleated skirt with like the little clasps on it. Oh my God, they just had so much cute stuff. A ton of like sets too, like tops and bottoms that like matched, or you could mismatch them or whatever. I don't know. They were really slaying in there. They had Office Siren stuff. Like, you guys, I hate that I was like vibing in there. And their shoes were really cute too. Like, okay, Target, slay. Honestly, slay. But yeah, I got the shirt at Target. We've talked about this. I'm like freaky for Halloween. I love it so much. I love it, love it, love it. And speaking of scary things, my 27th birthday is next week. Ew. That's a scary thing, right? Not that 27 is old or young or, I don't know. Age is such a weird fucking thing for me. I've had a lot of weird moments this week where I've just been like spiraling a bit about how old I am, and I don't know. I feel like we're always told so many things about 30 years old. Like, I feel like 30 years old is like the scariest thing ever to like a woman. I don't know why, but something about turning 30, the world has made seem like you become like this old wretched hag that's like so past her prime, so undesirable. Like, girl, you might as well die, you might as well die. Like, you do nothing for society anymore once you hit 30. That is what everything in media has made me feel about turning 30. I'm not even turning 30. I'm turning 27 and I'm scared of 30. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's so fucked with my concept of age, my concept of accomplishments, my concept of like where I should be in life. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm so I just feel like I'm having such a hard time understanding like where I am in life right now and where I should be, and all of this in conjunction with my age. Does that make sense? I don't know. I feel like I've talked about this before, but I look around me and there's so many people in my life who have like done all of these things that are like typical or like you're supposed to do before you turn 30 years old. And since I haven't done those things, I feel like, will I ever achieve those? Am I ever going to get married? Am I ever going to have kids? Am I ever going to own a house? Am I ever going to leave the job that I'm at and go to a different company? And, am I ever going to make this YouTube thing into something? Am I ever going to pursue a career that like I really want to do, but in order to do that, like I have to like cultivate this audience that like doesn't really exist, and like, is that ever going to happen? Am I too old to do all of these things? I've just been having all of these thoughts recently around aging and accomplishments and all of that, and it's really fucking with me. Like, honestly, it really is. But then I think, like, why do I have this thought that, like, if I don't hit these things before I'm 30 years old, then it's never going to happen? And it really is this, like, fucked up perspective that I have, and I feel like probably a lot of other women have, about age, that I don't understand why, I've also been thinking a lot recently, like, I'm single. I've been single for a really, really long time. I've never been in a relationship with somebody that I felt like was worthy enough to spend my whole life with. Of course, when you're younger, you like fantasize about the people that you're dating, like, I could marry this guy one day or whatever. But like, if I truly were to sit with myself and been like, do you really think that? The answer would have been no. Like, I think a lot of it was just being young and naive and not really understanding like what it really meant to like spend the rest of your life with somebody. But the older that I get and the closer I get to this like scary age of 30, the more I'm like, I don't know if that's ever going to be me. I don't know if I'm ever going to have somebody that like I want to do all those things with. Like, I don't know. And then that also makes me scared because I'm like, well, what if I don't ever meet anybody and I don't ever have kids and I don't ever own the house and I don't ever, does that make me a failure? Will my parents, like, will that make them upset? Will they pity me? Will they feel sorry for me? Are my friends going to all move on with their lives without me? And then what? I'm like the weirdo who's the only one with no kids and the only one with no husband or whatever partner. And yeah, that's where my head's been at with my birthday coming up next week. And not to make this all negative and introspective and creepy, but that's just what I've been thinking about. And I felt like I needed to share that feeling with my fellow club members because I've looked at the analytics. Yeah, analytics, big word. I know, big word. Basically, the majority of the people who listen to this or watch this are my age or slightly younger or slightly older. You know, it's very much in that age range. Also, it says 100% are women, which slay. Like, love that. I'm sure there are a couple of men, but like maybe on the information that you disclose when you sign up for, you know, YouTube or whatever, you didn't put like your gender or anything. So I'm sure there are some other genders here as well, but the majority are women, you know, an overwhelming majority are women. And so I just felt like I needed to share that because life sometimes just feels like I'm like, what am I doing? But then I'm also like, this is just life. I don't think life has to be this like overwhelmingly like aspirational thing. I think it's okay to just like live. And like, I think it's okay to just exist and not have this like end goal of perfection or like all these boxes are what I have to have checked in order to be satiated with the life that I have. I think it's okay to just like live in the moment and do what you want and do things that make you happy. And like, if something happens, that's great. And if it doesn't, it's like, you're not a failure, you know? And so, I don't know. I think turning 27 next week is just really, all of these things have like hit me like very hard and made me have like all of these thoughts about life and what it means to live and what it means to age. And yeah, if there's one thing that's for sure though, it's like aging does not mean you don't get acne, because I finally went to go rebuy my acne medicine this week because I just have been putting it off because it's so expensive. It's like $100 for like this little bottle. And I have to have this acne medicine plus this retinol that's also $100. So it's like $200 for like fucking skincare. I'm like, this is ridiculous. You know, because I'm almost 30. So you'd think like you wouldn't have pimples anymore. Well, that's far from the truth. In fact, I have body acne now, which is so awesome. I'm loving that for me. And also, because I've been off my acne medication for my face for so long because I haven't been able to afford it. Now that I'm back on it, my skin barrier is broken because it's not used to all these fucking things on my face. So now I have all these like little tiny, like, if you've broken your skin barrier before, like you'll know they're like little tiny bumps like all over my face that look like tiny pimples, but they're not. It's like your skin's like freaking out because it's like, girl, chill. And it's like overproducing oils and whatever to try to like heal itself. And yeah, so that's also not awesome. And so my makeup, I put a tiny bit of makeup on because my face just looked crazy. It was super red and my makeup's like itchy right now. I really want to just like itch my face and take it off. But I'm not going to do that. But yeah, aging does not mean you don't get acne. So all those kids out there who think, well, at least when I get older, I won't have acne. Well, you might be like me and it might get worse when you get older, because that's what's happening to me. And I'm loving that. All right, let's not be existential anymore. You know, we did that at the beginning. This is what I want to talk. Well, actually, one of these topics is extremely existential. We'll get to that later. Let's not do that right now. Let's talk about the Talk to a podcast. If you guys know the Hawk Tua girl, I don't even know her name. And that's what's like, you know, I talked about this in the past when the Talk to a meme was going viral. I talked about how it's just unfortunate that it's a joke, you know, in the dispense of women, and it's like men think it's hilarious because it's like a dick sucking joke and whatever. So I talked about the Hawk Tua girl. I was like, it's sad that she's always just going to be known as like the Hawk Tua girl. And lo and behold, she put out her first episode of her podcast last week. And it's like, the podcast is literally called Talk Tua. instead of hawk Tua. And I'm just like, ugh, God. It's just so unfortunate because it's like, who are you going to be? Is this going to be the lasting imprint that you leave on society, on the world, on your like internet footprint? You're the girl who made the joke on the Word on the Street interviewer in Nashville, Tennessee, where you're talking about sucking dick, hawk Tua, spit on that thing. It's like, ugh, girl, it's just, I don't know. I understand that people know her for that and like that's how they're going to recognize her. But I'm like, what audience are you trying to cultivate with that? You're a woman with a podcast for other women. However, the people who enjoyed that meme are not women. They're not the girlies. So I'm like, the name of the podcast is like, as somebody who works in marketing and got her, undergrad and master's in marketing, I'm always like, this is just like branding wise, such a bad move because the bottom line is men are not going to listen to that podcast because they don't care about that girl at all. Like the only thing that they viewed that girl as was like a funny sex meme. Okay. They're not going to listen to her talk for an hour, about nothing. A yap sesh is amazing. That's what I do every week on this. I love a yap sesh. However, it's geared, I know exactly who it's geared towards. It's in the name of the show, The Girls Club. It's like, it's for the girls and the gays and the theys, of course. But I thought the girls, the gays, and the theys club is just kind of a mouthful. So we just shortened it with the girls club. But y'all are, of course, members as well. Hello. But it's just sad because it's like, that's who you are. That's who you will always be. And that's what's sad about these people who like blow up overnight and get these like viral meme moments. It's like, that's just who you're gonna be for forever and ever unless you rebrand immediately. Unless you don't ride the wave of the meme, you immediately start telling your story. Who are you? Like, why should I care about you outside of this meme? Like, it would have been more efficient if instead of going on all these podcast tours that she went on with like Barstool Sports and all these fucking gross ass media companies who are like building her up to be this fucking dick sucking meme, it would have been better if she was like, yeah, I was really drunk and I said like a profane joke and it was kind of like gross and out of pocket. Sometimes I make those jokes with my girlfriends and like that's just who we are, but like I'm more than that, or this is what I care about, this is what I want to talk about. You can have a funny comedy podcast that's like lighthearted and it doesn't have to be anything. You don't have to bring like hot takes to stuff or whatever. Like you can just be like the silly, funny, relatable girl and that's fine. But to name your podcast Talk Tua because of a meme, it's like, yuck. Like that would be like the guy from Vine making a podcast like, you almost made me drop my croissant podcast. It's like, okay. like I don't know, it's just like stuff like that. I'm just like Charlie Bit My Finger podcast. That'll age me. It's like OG YouTube right there. Like, I don't know. It's just interesting because I've seen clips going around on TikTok and stuff, and no one took it seriously. The people who were making TikToks about it were men like pretending to have watch parties for it. And like, I don't know. I even made a joke about it on my TikTok being like acting as if they were talking about like really like high intelligent things. Cause I know it's just like brain rot content, which is fine. But it's for an audience who is not going to consume it. Therefore, it's going to tank. No one's going to listen to it. And I can't imagine it's going to be going on very long. Because it's not, if it was just her doing it, like if it was just like the way that I do it, where it's just like me, camera, laptop, the onus is on me. If I don't put it out, it doesn't go anywhere. Nobody's paying for it. The issue is hers is like paid by a media company. So they care about numbers. And if the numbers are not going to be meaningful for them and their money that they're paying this girl and they're paying to do the production, they're gonna scrap it. And I cannot imagine a ton of companies would want to work with her to pay for it, you know? Because that's all companies care about is like, okay, well, how many downloads are you going to get? How many views are you going to get? How many people are going to see this ad? You know, that's all anybody cares about. So I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that that's what they went with the name of the podcast, because I'm like, girl, you're so much more than a meme, and you let this meme control your life. It's like that damn Daniel guy, you know, when he went on Ellen, or like Alex from Target. It's like, where are they now? You gotta brand yourself outside of the meme. If you're just the meme, you're gonna live by the meme and you're gonna die by the meme. And nobody's gonna ever come looking for you again, because it's gonna be something that just was like lived in time. It's like that corn kid. I like corn, or whatever. I don't even remember what he said. Is that what he said? I like corn. Tastes like corn. Something about corn. His mom like trademarked that phrase or some shit and like tried to sell it to, you know, the gods, because she was like trying to profit off of her child. Shocking. Nobody cares about the corn kid anymore. You know? I don't know. It's just like, I guess we can't all be as smart and awesome as me. Talk about a company who's doing advertising good / very weird. Have y'all seen the Nutter Butter TikTok account? If you haven't, pause this episode. Pause this video. However you're consuming this, pause it. Go on TikTok, type in Nutter Butter. It is the official TikTok account for the Nutter Butter cookie. Like, I'm talking like the Nutter Butter, like Nabisco brand fucking cookies, you know, the cookies, they're sandwich cookies and they look like a peanut. Okay. This TikTok account they know their target demo, okay? It's Gen Alpha. It's brain rot Gen Alpha kids, okay? Or very young Gen Z. You know, that's who they're wanting to buy this. You know, the most adults, I'm not speaking for myself because I buy food for children often, you know? We keep our house full of junk food. That's the way I like it. If it doesn't have red dye 40, I don't want it, okay? But the majority of people who are purchasing Nutter Butters are probably purchasing them for their children, okay? And this TikTok account is like, if you were a average adult and you came across this, I think this would send any like Facebook using boomer into like, I don't know. I think they would think that there was some satanic shit happening over there. They would bring the devil into it because it's fucking crazy. It is like, if you've ever gone on like alt, if you've ever gotten on like the alternate side of TikTok where you're like, how did I get here? This is so strange. Everything's kind of giving like AI generated, like creepy, weird vibes. That is what this account is. Let me just pull up a video. It's like I'm obsessed with it, but a lot of people are like, what the fuck is going on? Because they don't understand that it's like not for them. Okay.
Nutter Butter, are you guys okay?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Like, oh my God, this is like prime Gen Z in the workplace behavior. Because also the amount of faith that they're giving the Gen Z like marketing coordinator who's like running this social media account or social media coordinator is impressive, you know? But it's also proof that like they're understanding their target demographic is these kids and not adults. So why are we making ads for adults? And also, I think what's crazy is like corporate companies that have TikTok accounts, it's like, why are you on TikTok? You know? And I think they clearly understand why they're on TikTok. You know, TikTok is an app created to make like short form content. So if you're just doing like ads and shit or sponsored content on it, it's like you're not really connecting with anybody. It's so clear that you're only on there to like push your product. So I think it's really, really innovative and cool that they're using TikTok how it's meant to be used to like make actual fucking content, albeit weird content. They're making content. It's not just like repurposed commercials. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's so creative. And I think a lot of companies have tried to do this and it's just very like cringe. They have fully leaned into the whole like, our faith is in you, our 21-year-old marketing coordinator. Like, you do with it as you may, as you see fit. And it's like just really fucking funny. Okay, one of the other like huge things that's happened this week is Diddy's arrest. If you guys don't know what's going on, which you probably do, but honestly, like, this is one of those things that like goes so deep and is so much deeper than any of us will ever really understand because we don't exist in this world. But Diddy, aka Sean Combs, who is a famous music producer, and he had a few like songs back in the day that he like rapped on or whatever, but like he's more well known as like a music producer. Basically, there has been word around town and around, you know, the internet for years now that there's been some like weird shit with Diddy. He hosts these like big lavish parties every year. Everybody wears all white. You know, he has been known to like be friends with some like questionable people, and I don't know, there's so much. I've tried to watch so many videos about it, and every video I watch it just gets more and more and more and more fucked up. Like, but basically he, a couple of months ago, or maybe it started 2 years ago, Cassie, which is a singer, an artist who was like under Diddy's like label, I guess, or I don't know, like essentially he was her like boss, but I guess her and him used to be in a quote relationship. However, it was not a consensual relationship. It was very much one-sided, and there had been a lawsuit that she brought against him, and that is what kind of was the first domino to fall in all of these other things coming out against him, because she was the first person to really just like say fuck you and speak up about it, because there had finally been like third party witnesses of his horrendous behavior towards her that were not other celebrities or industry people. I believe they were like in a hotel room, and she was like fleeing from the hotel or something, and like he was like chasing after her, and like a hotel employee like watched this all happen and like watched him physically like assault her and verbally like abuse her. Like, I don't know, there's so much, and I don't know hardly anything. But if you remember a couple of years ago, Cat Williams went on a podcast with, oh my god, what is his name? Shannon Sharp. Okay. Shannon Sharp, he was on the Shannon Sharp podcast, and he exposed like so many people in the industry. God, when was that? January 3rd, 2024. Okay, so it was literally like at the beginning of this year. Cat Williams goes on this podcast, on Shannon Sharp's podcast, and exposes like so many, he just says like a bunch of shit that like sounds insane. Like, he sounds like a crazy person. And after this podcast aired, everybody was kind of like, Cat Williams has lost his fucking marbles, because he was saying some crazy shit. He was making a lot of accusations against some very famous people, i.e. Kevin Hart, Will Smith, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Diddy, Pharrell Williams, Usher, like so many very, very, very famous people. Basically making accusations about there being this like not Illuminati, but something like that-esque, you know, club in the industry where people like sell themselves in order to become famous, and by doing so like They basically have to do and say whatever these people tell them to do, or else like they have like blackmail on these people and will like come out with it, or even worse, like you could die. And so when Cat Williams came out was saying all this, even Shannon Sharp in the interview was kind of like, okay, man, like, you know, okay, but was very like skeptical, I would say is the right word. And since then, all of these little, you know, pieces have fallen into place, proving everything that Cat Williams had said in that interview was real. Like, had been actually happening in the background. And now that Diddy is under arrest, a lot of other things are coming to light and evidence is being provided to the public that had been like not formerly known to the public. And I think it's just so crazy because I really don't want to get into all of it because a lot of it is very like disgusting and like trigger warning. It involves sexual assault. It involves like physical, verbal abuse. It involves like hired hits on celebrities and like assassinations, and like it's insane. And I think what's crazy is how to us normal people, this just sounds like so fictitious and like unrealistic and crazy. But I think we are just so naive to the darkness and evil that exists in these really high places. Like, this is why there's only so few people who are at the top, at the very top. Like, a lot of people can become famous in their own right, but there's only so many true A-list celebrities, artists, whatever, you know, and that's by design. You know, it's because there's a lot of hoops to get through to get there. And I've just heard some horrendous stories about things that happen in LA that, you know, people in the industry make it seem like you have to do to, you know, reach that level of success or notoriety. And it's gross. And so I don't know, if you want to look into it. Right now Diddy is still in jail being held without bond until his court date, which I think is set in November or something like that. So we'll see what happens. I think a lot of people are going to, you know, get exposed. We've already seen Will Smith has been exposed. There was a tape that was released of him, I think it was proved to be him having sex with another male artist in the industry. And there's also been word known that like Mary J. Blige and Jay-Z and other people, you know, were privy to information about Aaliyah's freak accident, quote accident, in her plane crash that ultimately led to her death, that supposedly was not an accident and was all planned, and Jay-Z had something to do with it, allegedly. Like, y'all, it is insane. If you're curious, literally just go on YouTube. I kind of feel like a conspiracy theorist with all of it. Like, I feel like I'm being a little bit crazy, but at the same time, I feel like I'm not, because I feel like these people they act the way that like the mafia acts. And you know what they say about the mafia is like, we don't talk about the mafia. And that is literally how this is. It's like, I don't know. It's very crazy, very insane. But yeah, if you want to look into it, look into it. If you don't. But be prepared to learn a lot of nasty, nasty, nasty stuff. I just don't want to talk about it because it like truly makes me sick at my stomach to think about it. And just sad. Just really sad for all of the people involved who were victims, and who still are, you know. It's just very gross. Oh, I did want to talk about the fact that this Saturday I had one of my friends over, and my roommate also like hung out with us. I don't know, I was gonna say participated, but that was like a really strange word to use. But I went to Goodwill, and I bought like a bunch of old random books from Goodwill, and I got some picture frames, and I had like a collage making night so we can make some like art, and this is the thing that I made. It was really funny because the three of us all made such distinctly different pieces of art. Mine is like so dark and scary, and I tried to make it have this like deep meaning or whatever behind it, and then like my two friends, like it was nothing like theirs were like so just like sweet and cute and not what mine was. I don't know. One thing about me is like I like scary art. I don't know what it is. Like I like to make cute art. I love cute things. Okay. I love cute stuff. But something about me is like whenever I make anything artistic, like I always it always has like dark undertones. And I don't know why that is. I should probably go to therapy again, but I don't want to pay for that. But yeah, mine was just very deep, dark, and dangerous. But it's a fun activity, and it's like a cheap thing to do. So if you ever are looking for like an activity to do with your friends, like literally go to Goodwill, look through the books, find the books that have like pictures in them, buy them. Like mine were so random. One was like an encyclopedia of Greece. The other one was like how to throw a garden party. One was about lighthouse construction, and one was like a women's like magazine or something. I also made the art that's in here out of stuff from collage books, and one was from a book from the 80s called The Guide to Blouses, and it was like a sewing book on how to make certain blouses. And then the other piece of art that I made was from a German textbook and I got them all from Goodwill. But the books at Goodwill are so cheap, and sometimes they have like deals on them. So yeah, go check that out. But yeah, that was a fun little thing that I did this weekend. It was fun to just like actually do something that wasn't like go out to dinner or have drinks or whatever, because as fun as that is, like I do enjoy doing that. Sometimes I just want to like stay home and like do something at the house, and that was like a really fun activity that we did. So I had fun doing a little craft night, and I want to do that more often. Like I said, I've been in my art era. If you guys could see this room right now, it looks insane because I'm working on a piece of art for one of my friends, and I'm having the hardest time with it because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a painter. I've never claimed to be a painter. There's one part of the whole painting that I like, and the rest of it I fucking hate. So I keep starting over. I keep just painting over stuff. So this thing is going to end up being so thick and probably going to take me way longer than it should. Any other person who knows what they're doing would already be done. Me, I'm like, I think I like it, and then I step back and I'm like, no. So that's been how that's been going for a hot sec now. Okay, the last thing that I wanted to talk about before we get into confession/advice, which I actually did put out this week and didn't forget to do. However, hardly anybody participated, so maybe I'll just, jump out this window and end it all. I'm just kidding. But the last thing I want to talk about is something that, like, I don't want this to be insensitive or anything like that, or negative or whatever, like, but I will be talking about religion and my own beliefs. So I don't want you to think that like I don't value yours, or I don't care. Like, I want people to do what they want to do. I want people to think how they want to think, and I want them to believe in what they want to believe in. Okay, this is more of just like a conversation that I wanted to have because it's always been something I've been so curious about. And recently I've been thinking, why do I think this way? And I saw this TikTok the other day, and it was about like atheism isn't something that like people really choose, that people are kind of, you either like do or don't believe in some sort of like higher power or afterlife or whatever. And I think a lot of times people make it seem like people who don't believe in God chose to do that. And this TikTok kind of got into like that wasn't the case for them. And I've never related more to this topic. So I kind of wanted to just talk about it a little bit because I don't ever really talk about religion because I'm not religious, which is kind of the point of this whole conversation. But I have, you know, most of the people in my life are, and I don't ever want to like denounce their beliefs because, you know, that's not my place. And I think what's hard is like, I want to believe in God. I've always wanted to believe in God. I'm somebody who's grown up in like the Midwest and in the South. Like the concept of God has been very strong in all aspects of my whole life. When I was younger, my mom was like a Sunday school teacher. My grandparents are very religious. My dad's mom was a secretary for a church his whole life. He was raised basically in a church. So like it's not that I grew up in a family that wasn't active in a religious community. However, I also didn't grow up in a house that was forceful of their beliefs onto me. You know, prayer was always something that was like incorporated into my life, like praying before dinner, praying before bed, or you know, this idea of like talking to God was always something that was like around me, but it was never forced on me. Like it was never like you have to do this or you have to do this or that or you're going to hell. Like that was never part of my religious upbringing, which is also why I feel like very conflicted in my, you know, relationship with religion, because it's not that I didn't want to, you know, because I never had really a negative experience with religion. A lot of people I think who are atheists or don't believe in God, not that they chose that, but I do think that a lot of people have this negative experience with religion, whether it's like forced onto them at a young age or, you know, they associate it with like negative attributes as like, you know, maybe they are a person who is somebody who their religion would view as like a sinner or whatever, you know, like I didn't have any of that. So I don't ever have this like negative feeling towards religion the way that I think a lot of people do who are atheists or who are agnostic or whatever. I just have never felt a connection to any sort of higher power. I like have these memories like going to church so young and being in church and everybody's praying and, you know, looking at the floor and like talking to God or whatever. And I'm just looking around the room, like being like, what is it that they feel or that they think that I don't? And I always felt like, but people don't actually believe this, right? Like I literally like so young remember like looking around and being like, I get why we're here and I understand like the messaging, but I was like, but nobody really believes this is real. I almost viewed religion and God the way that people view like Santa, where it's like if you're good all year, you'll get presents from this mysterious elf. But we all know he's not real, and we all know it's mom and dad at the end of the day. You know, like that's how I felt about religion my whole life. And the older I got, the more I realized like that's not how people think. Like people really think and really do believe in this thing. And the older I got, the more I like envied having this like thing to fall back on in this, you know, higher power to believe in when things go to shit or where you don't believe in yourself or where the situation's bad. Like I just wished I had that. I wish I had this thing to look forward to in death. You know, I really wish that like I had like a relationship with somebody who was not me or other people that I could just like talk to when I was sad or whatever. But like, I I tried so hard and I was just like, I can't believe in this. I don't believe in it. Even when I wanted to, like, even when I would pray, I so vividly remember this being little, and I would pray because I just wanted, like, I wanted to believe the way that everybody else did, because everybody else seemed so much happier and like so much more like unaware of like the bad stuff. Like I felt like I was never not aware of the bad things. Like I always saw the bad things. And I didn't ever have this like utter hopefulness in like the good, because like I just was like, okay, but right now is bad. You know, why are we like hypothetical about like when we die, when it's like today is bad, people are dying, people are starving, people are whatever, like why don't we care about this now? And so I would like pray and be like, God, I hope you protect, like keep my mom safe, keep my dad safe, keep my brother safe. And then like mid prayer, I'd be like, God's not real. And I'd be like, oh my God, don't think that. Like, don't think that. But then I would be like, but why not? What's he gonna do? You know, like and then that's not normal for like a second grader to be thinking that way about religion, you know, but I did. I always did. I always questioned it. I always was like, I don't know. I don't have this feeling towards this thing that all of these other people claim to have or whatever. And so I don't know. It's just always so weird. And so I resonated so much with this TikTok because it was like, it really isn't a choice to not believe or to believe. It's like, you just do or you don't. And as much as I tried so hard. I didn't. Not to say like church doesn't feel good. Like I feel like there's this misconception of people who like don't believe in God that like you're like anti all of it. It's like, no, I understand going to church and being surrounded by other people feels good. It's like going to a restaurant or going to the movies with your friends. Like it feels good to be surrounded by other people, and the message is there. Like I get it. I understand the positivity that it brings and the purpose that it gives people in their life. And like, that's why I think it's a good thing to a certain extent. I think there's a lot of negatives in certain aspects of religion that I just don't agree with. But, you know, I think the moral compass of it all is not a bad thing. But yeah, it was just like one of those things that I'm like, I think a lot of people think of atheists as these people that are like wanting to prove that religion's not real and like wanting people to like wake up and be like live in reality and you know, it's like, but that's just not the case. Like I wish I could. My whole life I wished I could. I wish I thought when I was gonna die I was gonna live on and whatever, but I don't. And I think that when I die I'm gonna go into the dirt and I'm peacing out. Like that's just how I think. And yeah, I think atheists get a bad rep because it's like I didn't choose to not believe in God. It would be a lot easier if I did. Trust me. I'd have a lot more friends if I did. And not that like I'm exclusively friends with atheists. Like I have plenty of friends who go to church and like believe in God, and my family included. But like there would have been a lot more opportunity growing up in the South and the communities that I existed within if I did have that relationship with God, you know? So I don't know. Not to denounce anybody's religion. That's exactly what I don't want to do. But I just thought that I would have that conversation, and I didn't know if anybody else felt that way or has always felt that way. It was funny though, because like I remember like believing in the tooth fairy, but then going to church and being like, yeah, but like all these things like didn't actually happen, right? Like, and this concept of God is just like kind of crazy, right? And then like still think like a little fairy is gonna come under my pillow and replace my tooth with a quarter. Like that's how deeply it ran with me, just not believing, which is just so insane if you think about that. But I don't know. It's just, religion to me is just such an interesting thing. I also, my master's program, I went to a Christian university. It was actually a Church of Christ college, which if you know anything about that, it's kind of like it's like bordering the line of like Pentecostalism, which is a very strict religion. I dated a guy who was Pentecostal once, but his family had kind of like stepped outside of the church, and I think they like identified more as Baptist, but like his mom's family definitely did not. Like they still were very much like very traditional Pentecostal women, like did not cut their hair, spoke in tongues at church, like the whole 9 yards. So yeah, where that college I went to was interesting to say the least. We could not read. We were in my master's program, okay? All legal drinking age. We could not read any case studies that had to do with alcohol. I think at the college they had this like saying that like ring by 19 or something like that, meaning like if you were 20 and not engaged, like what the heck were you doing? Which crazy. Let's let that frontal lobe develop first, girls. Please, I beg of you, just let that thing develop before you get engaged. Please, for the love of God. So yeah, it's not that I've been like void of religion my whole life. I've always been around it. I just have never had that feeling that everybody else has, apparently. So yeah, I just thought I'd talk about that because sometimes I really think life would be a lot easier for me if I did believe in God, and a lot chiller. I'd have a lot less anxieties and a lot more of just like, well, it's all part of his plan mentality about it, instead of like these existential spirals that I have of it all being on me. It's all on me. And sometimes I wish I could just put it on to a higher power. But alas, I can't. But, you know, this isn't a Bible study. This is just a club for some girls. So we'll talk about something else now. Okay, so at the end of every podcast, I like to do a segment called, well, it doesn't have a name. Has no name. But I like to get our club members involved, and I post out on the Instagram story asking for advice or confessions, or you're always welcome to email me at thegirlsclub.pod@gmail.com if you ever want to ask me for some advice, give some advice to the club, or confess to something that you just need to get off your chest. Last week I forgot to do this. This week I finally did. And the responses were very minimal. Which also, this is a reminder, go follow the Instagram. It's thegirlsclub.pod on Instagram. Go follow. Yeah, that's about it. Or you can follow me on Instagram, or both. Mine's Starnsy at Instagram. So go check that out. Okay, the first one is just a confession, or I think it's just good news. So also do that. If you've got some good news, like, let's share it. Let's make this a bit churchy. Like, tell me your good news. What's the good word? My sister. What's the good word, girl? This person says, I'm graduating on Wednesday and I got a job in my field. Snaps. Yes. And that is some good vibes for this week. So happy graduation. You will be graduated by the time this episode comes out. So congratulations. Get it? It's like congratulations with grad. Actually, it would still be just congratulations. I'm an idiot. Why'd I add a W in there? Graduation. Oh, because I made it graduation, congratulations. Okay. No, I did eat the first time. I did indeed eat the first time. But anyways, congratulations. The job market right now is fucking dookie. So that's on you, girl. Like, you did that. You really went out there and got that job, and that's amazing. I know it's so hard right now. I saw this TikTok today of this girl who said she applied to 53 jobs this week alone. Like, it's hard out there. It's really hard, especially for people who just graduated. So that's amazing. Congratulations to you. That's a slay. And congrats on your new job, because we all gotta work to eat. That's, yep. That was kind of sad, but it's true. This one says, tell us more about this cat or else. So the cat is my roommate's cat that I posted on the story for the thing. Yeah, my roommate has a cat and she lives with me. That's about it. Her name is Cher, after the singer Cher from Sonny and Cher. Yeah, she's a little black, long-haired cat. She's my buddy. I work from home almost every day, so I'm here with her almost every day. And we just vibe and we hang out and we do our thing. And so, yeah, that was her in the photo. And if you like her, go adopt a cat, because I'm sure you could find there's a million cats that look like her out there that need homes. Go adopt a cat. I have been looking at petfinder.com recently whenever I get bored, because I'm like, I really want my younger brother to get a cat. So I keep looking for cats, but I keep looking in the Nashville area like an idiot. And so every time I find one, I'm like, oh wait, that's like not, he doesn't live here. I need to find one by him. But yeah, adopt, don't shop. It's actually sad. It's actually so sad how many dogs and cats are like up for adoption right now and all the time. If you ever are like, man, I really want to get a dog, or I really want to get a cat, but like, I don't know, like literally go on petfinder.com, go to your local animal shelter. Like there are so many that need homes. It's actually devastating. And it will make you sad, because you're like, wait, I want to take all of them home, but I can't. One day I hope that I can have like a house with like a giant, like I don't need a big house. Like I'm fine with having like a literal tiny house with I just want a big yard, and like I want to have just like a fucking shit ton of just like dogs from a shelter, and just let them just roam around out there. Like that is the dream, man. I don't even know if I want kids, but damn it, I want a lot of dogs. Just have them run around and hang and vibe. And like maybe at night, like when we're laying in bed, like they can all surround me, and we'll be like a pack of wolves. Oh my God. Okay, well, that's the end of this episode. I feel like this one was kind of intense, kind of heavy. I didn't make a lot of jokes. I feel like I talked a lot more introspectively. I think it's, I'm about to be 27. I'm feeling like an adult. I'm feeling like I need to, talk about like, the bigger things in life and whatever. I'm sure next week I'll be back to like brain rot TikTok content or whatever. But yeah, I just thought I'd take a break from the gossip of it all and the whatever, and talk a bit more just like girl to girl about what's been going on in life and some of these crazy thoughts that I've had in this like fucked up brain of mine. So if you like the show, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please rate me on scale of 1 to 10 of how hot you think I am. I'm just kidding. Please don't do that. I don't need to know. It will probably hurt my feelings, so just don't do that. Please rate the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you're listening. And I will see you all next week, where I will be. Well, actually, I'll record the day before my birthday. But by the time you listen, I'll be a year older. And I'll be an old hag. So, I love you. And see you next time. Bye.
The Girls Club, the Girls Club, the Girls Club. The Girls Club, the Girls Club, the Girls Club. It's my club and I'm a girl, yeah.